come out here.
Oh, I thought we were.
No, we were
already live.
No, we weren't. This is all just this is warm up.
It's a missed opportunity.
No, it's okay because I want to talk about something a little more conceptual with you. Is this my shake? Sorry, we got.
Shoot, I didn't even realize it was still there. You want me to remake it?
No. That's, yeah, it's all good. It's all good. So what I wanted to ask you about, and we can go wherever after this, but like, what is your experience with ego death?
With ego death?
Yeah. That bad.
The ego is always dying, and it leaves an even stronger and more, not subtle isn't the word I'm looking for, but shit, there's a great word. It's you think it's not the ego, but it is. Right?
Okay.
Like
What is the ego to you?
No, the ego is like the kind of the core of your being that doesn't have a personality associated with it. It's...
Oh, interesting. So you don't see the ego as being the personality.
Let me think if I do or not.
I'm not saying that's right or wrong. It's just an interesting...
I know ego takes a bad rap.
Oh, it absolutely does.
And, you know, an Eastern religion is all about, you know, evolving past our ego, which evolving past our ego is probably the hugest ego trip that anybody would go on. And I don't, you know, I'm not anti-ego. There was a time I was.
Yeah.
Like I felt it was a worthy goal, you know, to get past the ego. But honestly, and I'm going to invoke God here.
Okay.
Because I think God is a useful concept.
It is very much so.
I think God gives us egos for a reason. It propels us. It inspires us to do things for ourselves and our families, and you almost have to have a huge ego to accomplish things that end up benefiting everybody.
So would you say, because I have this theory, or I think I subscribe to the belief, I should say, or the perception, that consciousness is actually like a singular sort of entity, if you will, God. It's like, so I practice transcendental meditation, and I'm reading through this book by Dr. Tony Nader called Consciousness is All There Is, and he's actually a scientist. So he's not, like, he took over for the guru who kind of brought transcendental meditation out from India to, to the rest of the world. But Dr. Tony Nader was asked to take it over, and he's like, I'm just helping you out, man. I'm just a scientist. He's like, that's why. He's like, oh, right. Okay. So it's such a thick book because it's like, but the core of it is this idea of the question, I should say, and it's based in like quantum physics and all that kind of stuff. Does consciousness exist as a result of the material, or does, hey man, we're gonna talk about a documentary soon, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
All right, man.
Cheers.
See you, Tony. But the idea is that, or the question is, does the material generate consciousness, or does consciousness generate material? In other words, like, there's, and so then expanding on the idea of like, there's everything, absolutely everything that exists, and then the illusion of nothing is then what allows the excitation of particles to then form these concepts that normally would cancel each other out, but because of the field of nothing, which creates the illusion of separation, it allows these concepts that are opposed to each other to exist without just remaining in a neutral state. And that's what we are. So in that, the ego, as I'm processing that, I'm looking at the ego as like a limited, like, container that the consciousness flows into and then kind of forgets what it is because it's a limited container of information. So you're limited information, limited sensory input. I mean, you think about like all the wavelengths that our brain can't read.
Right.
Like, that's why we see color. That's why we see all these things that we see. Hi. It's because of those limitations that we can actually have this experience. But in that, yeah, like you're talking about the value of, you get a sense of, I want to make the world a better place because you can't actually experience everything. But in
that's true.
But in that, then, like the experience of ego death is a fascinating concept. I actually think it's kind of like the word narcissist. It's a overused word that isn't actually accurate. Like, because a narcissist hates themselves, whereas Narcissus fell in love with his reflection, and that's why he drowned. It's the exact opposite. So you call a narcissist, and you're saying, well, actually, if he was, he'd probably be a lot happier. And the same thing with ego death. It's like, why would you? Look, ego death is just that. Then you just go back to everything. So why?
Yeah, you know, people like to latch on to big words that they can use as a bludgeon against other people.
Oh, sure.
You know, it's fun to call somebody a narcissist, and maybe they are one or not, or like, it's like for me, one of my terms is self-absorbed, which I use to describe myself.
Yeah.
Because I know, like, I miss so many things around me because I'm like in the drama of my own narcissism.
I wonder if what we call ego death is actually ego expansion in response to what you just described. It's getting less self-absorbed. You observe yourself in a state of like a third-party object going, wow, this guy's actually got a lot of problems. Oh, shit, that guy's me. Oh, you know? Yeah. And then the expansion of that.
Well, define the term ego death, because I'm not sure, like, that if we're going to talk about... If we're going to talk about that,
I think we need to define that together, because like I think that's a very good question. I guess if I were to like throw my idea of it into the pot, it would be that, you know, that moment where you absolutely 100% fail and you cannot look away from it. Like you fail in the worst possible way of absolute. There is no getting around the fact that I suck.
Yeah.
To me, that's, you know, and I've done shrooms and I've done hallucinogenics, and in the same kind of way, you know, the ego death of that kind of an experience, there's that sense of like, it's almost like a current in a river where it's just sucking you towards it, and it's the more you don't want to go towards it, the more you do, and I just don't want to go there, I just don't want to go there, I just don't want to go there, just and that's, you know, and then you go through the, oh, what am I? And then you come out the other side and you're like, well, I'm still here. And that's, to me, what an ego death experience is.
Yeah, lately I've thought about what it would be like to have that moment of truth where everything falls apart. And I'm always, my life has kind of always felt as if I was skating on that edge. Right? Failure was just like one small bad decision away.
That's a lot of pressure.
I'm a pressure cooker.
So you like the pressure?
No, I hate it. I hate it, but it's...
But you thrive in it.
Well, no, I don't thrive in it. I don't thrive in it. I hate it. But I can't seem to get myself to get off that track.
Why?
I don't know. It's, you know, and this is where maybe like complete surrender to God is what saves people in that situation. For me, it's just I'm so used to doing things a certain way. And that's why, like, when I was telling you about my friend Hugh, you know, he questioned whether I'm sabotaging myself, and he gave me specific examples of...
With your social media? Like
the social media and the fact that My notary website is incorporated in my other websites. Like it takes when you
Okay,
put
you need
in,
to give us some context. Like, tell me about what you do.
right now I do podcasts with people like you
Yeah,
when the opportunity arises, which is not often.
yeah.
So I'm going to go into full Lewis mode. I'm Boise's #2 storyteller, wedding officiant, and mobile notary.
Yep.
It's the combination is it just kind of evolved to that.
I love it, by the way. I really do love it.
No, I love it too. It's because the beauty of it is that I don't have to end up doing any of those things.
You don't actually want Lewis to do those things.
I don't, and that's the thing. But I'm now so heavily invested in the notary
Why?
side of things. Oh, because my buddy Jim, who's like a great notary in Boise, maybe your viewers have heard of him.
Probably not.
But he said, "Oh, you would be a great notary," and
Well,
and-
who says that? Who just goes, "Hey, you know what? You'd make a great notary." Like what?
No,
like,
Jim.
What is what quality are we looking for? Quantify that for me.
No, the quality is meticulous and
Okay.
personable.
Oh, okay.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
I have the personality,
Okay,
right? Because
of a
people
notary.
are stressed out.
Okay.
Like they're going through life changes and
Okay.
they need somebody to pull them back from the cliff. I'm that guy.
That's what notaries do.
Essentially, I mean, you gotta
Okay. I don't know why that's so funny to me.
it's funny.
I don't know if I'm being disrespectful, but
No, I don't care.
sorry to the notary class.
I wish.
I
No,
really value what you do.
People need to worry less about being disrespectful and just speak.
Okay, fine. Fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. So I was utterly demoralized because I need work, and I'm not a prima donna, and so I thought, you know what, I'd be a good barista, and so I applied at Starbucks.
Okay.
I interviewed at 2 different stores, and the interviews seemed to go really well.
Okay.
Right? The managers were like, "Oh, I love that," and they're like really enthusiastic.
Mm-hmm.
And then they do this thing. I think all employers do it. They say, "Oh, we'll
Get
let
back
you
to
know
you."
by the end of the week."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then another week goes by.
Mm-hmm.
So I get a phone call from the first one. "Oh, Lewis, we're, sorry I didn't call you on Friday.
Yeah.
We decided to go in a different direction."
Mm.
I said, "Oh, okay. Well, at least I applied at the other one."
Yeah.
Not 10 minutes goes by. There's an email. "We decided to go another direction." Right? So the same day I get rejected by 2 Starbucks for a barista job, a very highly skilled position. I got nothing against baristas. I think, it takes talent to be one.
Mm-hmm.
But I could probably do the job. I could probably bring honor to the shogunate, as a barista.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking, maybe I need to go into business again. And to hell with Starbucks. And to hell with being a barista. And to hell with putting myself out there as an applicant for a job. And
Let me
that's
ask
when
you-
the notary thing came up.
Yeah, so notary thing comes up. But really, the notary thing is just an entry point in order to get people to experience you in the capacity that you really want them to, which is...
Storyteller.
What does that mean, storytelling?
Okay. I'm going to bring up my heroes. Not all my heroes, just 3 of them.
Okay.
Tom Petty, Bob Dylan, Muhammad Ali. Rock stars.
Yeah.
All kind of that same era roughly. Did they go out to try and solve somebody's big expensive problem? No. What did they do? Well, rock and roll. They weren't thinking about necessarily, the problem in the world that they're going to address. No, they just
wanted to do their thing.
They wanted to do their thing. And what did they each had to pay their dues, right? Starting with small clubs, the coffee housey, whatever it was. Muhammad Ali, he was probably headed the wrong way, and a mentor kind of steered him towards boxing. And then he ultimately wanted to make boxing entertaining for the viewers. And so what was he was the greatest. Right? I am the greatest. Talk about ego.
Sure.
But look at what that did. And so to me, I bring those three up again and again as a model for myself to just go out and tell stories, right? Talk about my dad, some of my stuff is made up. A lot of it's made up. I'm inspired by the Bible and mythology, history, pop culture. I put it all together, and the goal, I want to perform. Okay, like I play the harmonica, but it's not necessarily even part of my show.
Sure.
Okay, so my ideal scenario is that I'm up on stage telling stories, entertaining people. Okay, for the price of a ticket.
Yeah.
Right, and then who knows? Maybe I'll make albums, or the product, are different iterations, right? They're the vehicles, right? So it's not like Brandon, I'm gonna go, I want to make records, right? No, I'm gonna be Lewis. I'm gonna tell stories. I'm gonna entertain people, and they will therefore, they'll tell their friends, and it will build from this to this, right? So, but it's a long shot, it's showbiz.
What does that look like for you, like specifically? So like people get to know you as a notary, then they really get to know you as a storyteller. But what are you like? Where are you leading them towards? Like, how are you wanting? Like, what is your end spot? Is it a stage? It's a stage.
Yeah, and what I tell people is that I eventually want to perform my one-man show, A Night You Won't Remember, and Not Because You Can't, to sold-out crowd at Madison Square Garden.
Okay. I'm really curious how, it's just such a fascinating thing, and I think people probably have similar questions about me. It's probably, Brandon, how are you going to get to where you want to go, which is, I want to be on the world stage having conversations with people like Elon Musk and others about how can we actually get UBI going, universal basic income, free access to healthcare, because Elon Musk said at one point, or I've seen a screenshot, I should say, I've seen a screenshot where he said at one point, show me how we can do how I can wipe out poverty for 400 million, and I will. And I'm like, I don't care if he's being cynical. Like, there should have been whole organizations and whole okay guys, we're funding grants, we're doing this, we're doing that. Let's get we're gonna come up with a brain trust over the next 5 years to then bring this to Elon and say, we're gonna hold you to your word because you said you would do it and we figured it out. Like, why isn't that happening? Why is it just that's not a throwaway comment? I don't care how cynical it was or how whatever. But in my case, it's so Brandon, how are you going to get there? Well, I'm manifesting that I win the lottery, because that's going to give me credibility, because then I can prove that it comes from nothing to, consciousness to the material. Meantime, I'm making social cinema documentary pieces for small businesses, and I'm traveling the country eventually doing that. And I'm actually resisting working with large brands because what I really want to focus on is the common man. And it's like the gap from there to there doesn't make any sense. You know, I'm not trying to.
Are you sure?
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it does make sense.
See, I could be full of shit because I'm trying to work it out as I go.
Sure.
And so in my mind, for me, being a notary and a wedding officiant, that's just like the way to get to where I'm going. It doesn't have to be related. It's just like, you know what, we gotta pay our bills, right?
Sure.
We gotta feed ourselves and our families, and so you do what you gotta do. It might not be related. You know, if some business coach or life coach comes up to you and says, hey, how do you expect to ever interview Elon Musk when you're making marketing videos for an Herbalife
in
rep
Boise, Idaho.
in Boise, Idaho.
Right.
It's like, well, we find ourselves where we are, and so we got to deal with that.
Yeah.
To me, what you're doing and what I'm doing, what everybody ultimately has to do is you pay your dues, and you don't necessarily understand how it fits together. That's my philosophy. That's why I could run an IT business for 23 years and
which you
sell
did,
it,
right?
which I did.
You ran it and sold it, and I'm curious about this because do you feel like that was paying your dues for anything, or was that just an entirely different chapter that's not relevant anymore?
We're always paying dues for something.
Okay.
Right? And you don't know, for all you know, running an IT business for 23 years is all about the fact that you met somebody who shared your love of photography, who gave you a camera. You know, that happened to me.
I was going to ask, yeah.
That got me back into photography, right? What's it got to do with IT? Nothing.
Except that it got you there.
I happened to have an IT business when one of my clients gave me a camera, right? So that's the thing. Like, it's not. People try to oversimplify and over address, right? Like, okay, well, if you want to be interviewing Elon Musk, you got to move to Hollywood, boy. No, because what if in the course of your making your marketing videos for small businesses, it turns out that the people who are running the coffee house know, Elon Musk's massage therapist.
Yeah.
You know, and this is the problem that I have on a daily basis, and where I get demoralized because I always think that the people advising me must be right. And maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I mean, they seem wise and they're successful. They must know what they're talking about.
But they're also not doing what you want to do.
No. And so it's hard to say, because I'm captain of Team Shiny Objects, and so like there's that part of me that feels like, oh, I should walk into Idaho Fitness Factory that's open 24 hours. Why? No reason. It's there. I see it. I'm gonna walk in there, and maybe the next person who's gonna help me is in there. Sometimes
I can relate to that.
I think there is a significant subgroup of humanity who operates that way, right? That's just how we fly.
Yeah.
And
It really and it flies in the face of a lot of corporate speak where it's like, you gotta have your next 5 years. What's your next 5 years look like? What's your this? What's your that? No, you know.
Right.
Now I say this as someone who's like 42 whatever days past due on his mortgage and is currently looking at like a lot of like uncertainty. But so yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not living the corporate lifestyle, and if I was, maybe I would be more settled, but I probably also wouldn't be moving in a trajectory that is open to the wild expansion that I'm wanting to have. Because I've got a floor, but I've also got a ceiling.
Right. And I'm the last person to give advice because my life has been a tale of instability, you know, seeming stability, but just beneath the surface.
Yeah, tell me about the journey with your IT business, and you sold that off, and now, so when you say you need work, do you need work for financial reasons, or is it more for a sense of purpose?
Both.
Okay.
Well, no, you know what? If I had the financial resources, I wouldn't give a shit about like.
Would you still pursue what you're pursuing if you had the financial resources?
I might not pursue it as energetically.
Interesting. Why?
Because I'm lazy.
You're lazy?
Yeah. Like I would, you know what? It's hard to say. Like I might. Like let's take the financial insecurity out of it. So, okay, we got all the money we need. I'd take my wife traveling, right? We go on road trips. I'd probably have twice as many grills in my backyard. You know, like I always like doing something.
Yeah.
But it's hard to say because sometimes security undermines our purpose.
I can see that. I can definitely see that.
And so maybe for me, in order to stay motivated, I have to be constantly on the edge.
You know, so this is actually one of the core kind of conversations that I'm having with myself and others, and it really is around this whole concept of, you know, universal base income, free education, free healthcare. You know, and I hear it from people where it's like, well, if they don't have that struggle, then they're just going to be depressed. And I was talking with a friend who's, you know, he had a long tenure in the military. He's now out. He has UBI, and he's telling me how, actually, Brandon, I'm so depressed, and I've considered giving up my UBI. But I'm like, I'm listening to him, and I'm definitely thank God for his service and all of that. But so I don't want to at all diminish that, but actually looking at the full picture of that, including his service, again, thank you for his service, coming out of a place of immense structure, likely trauma, likely a lot of things, and with a lot of resources to sort of like keep the unit intact, then all of a sudden you're out and here's UBI, good luck. Well, of course that's going to be depressing because what you lost, it's not the UBI, what you lost was your sense of purpose. And I have, so my sort of counter, I guess, so you say you're lazy. I don't know that I agree with that, but I can't speak to your experience. What I can speak to is my own. I know for me what would happen. When I win the lottery, I know 200 million is coming my way. When I get 200 million, I'll tell you what's going to happen. I am going to, because my girlfriend would kill me if I didn't, I am going to take probably about 2 weeks to just, quick vacation. But at the end of that 2 weeks, I'm going insane. Because I am so, the thing is, for me, the money actually becomes a fuel for a fire of like, okay, it's time to get to even more to work. I've been to work, but I'm not working for money. And maybe that's part of my problem is I'm not working for money. I'm working for purpose. And the thing is, I believe as I've been regulating my nervous system in spite of the uncertainty through transcendental meditation, through EMDR therapy, through parts work, all this different kind of stuff, getting myself regulated. Yes, the big secret is UBI, free healthcare, free education. That is not the way to get your nervous system regulated. However, It is the way to stabilize a system that then incentivizes, and we would have to find a way to incentivize, you have to go to school. You have to, but you can't make it a have to. What we need to do is we need to make education recreation. Right now, education is tied to the workforce. Education is tied to, we're teaching people how to be corporate drones, so of course school sucks. But if you changed that and you used education to, your baseline is covered. Now the baseline, in my opinion, the baseline is not glamorous. And it should not be glamorous. I'm talking about you're not on the street, you have what you need to live, you have, which includes living quarters, but they're not gonna be super great, because here's the deal, like UBI should honestly be for, you just got out of college, you're not quite sure what you're doing yet, so here just kind of sit here, figure it out. Or you got out of high school, it's like, from 18 and on, it's like, okay, you're safe and you're covered, but but the thing is, like, there's all these off-ramps to greatness that you're being extremely motivated to take. That your health is being taken care of, your mental health is being taken care of, and then there's an incentivization, there's some kind of, there's something that promotes, pursue your greatness, because now, if you crash and burn, then you've got a landing pad. If you succeed and you take off, you pay back into the system. Yes, of course, we have taxes, we pay for roads, we pay for this, we pay for that. If you are unbounded by the threat of death, and instead it is propelled by the possibility of success, and if you're chasing that dream, and if our art is promoting this construct of a progress and success-oriented mindset as opposed to a survivalistic mindset, then your ego death shifts, because I believe your ego death is whatever you fixate on. Whatever you fixate on, that is where you're going to go. And if you're in a survivalistic mindset, you're fixated on, I hope I could pay my mortgage, I hope and so wherever you fixate on, that's where you go. But imagine an ego death that is rooted in your success, because there is a fear of success as well. Sure. We are afraid, and I just literally got this the other day, because people would say, well, there's a fear of success, and I'm like, well, what is that? And people would say, well, I think it's you're afraid of the responsibility. That's still fear of failure, because if you're afraid of the responsibility, then it just means, I don't think I can handle it. But then I realized, I do know what fear of success is. It's the fear of, what am I going to become when I'm successful? Am I going to become an asshole? Am I going to become a this? Am I going to become a that? I don't know who I am on the other side of actually making this thing happen. But if that becomes my focal point, then so instead of having this fixation on, I hope I don't fail, having this fixation on, I hope I stay a good person on the other side of this, I think that the ego death now sucks you up as opposed to sucking you down.
So to me, the fear of success it falls under the category of the fear of the unknown, and it's coming back to UBI and having basic needs met. I think there are all sorts of reasons why it doesn't work.
Okay.
One of which is that we need struggle. We need...
You don't think you can have struggle with your basic needs being met if you're being propelled towards this idea of, I want to succeed in a way that I'm remembered? If it's about legacy as opposed to, not dying?
Well, I think that, basic survival, that struggle is very meaningful.
Okay.
And it's, most people somehow figure it out. It's not pleasant, right? And people are scraping by, and you think, oh, life's not fair. They work so hard, and look at them. But and I don't want to seem unsympathetic, because
no, I don't see you as that.
It's even having those basic needs met, it disrupts. It's almost unnatural in my mind.
Well, we haven't experienced it as a species.
No,
for sure.
we haven't, and I think it'll encourage some people to just be minimalists and live that way.
Is that a bad thing?
Yeah, I think it is.
Why? Aren't they already basically living that way?
Well, I think they have a motivation to kind of kick it up a little bit. Yes, I mean, some people are going to do the bare minimum, but the other thing that's going to happen is like when you're providing that basic level, it's going to drive everybody's costs.
Well, yeah, but because
Right?
the system doesn't work if people aren't propelled upwards by their own motivation. And so I agree with you. There needs to be a sense of incentivization. The question is, what would that be? And
Well, no, we have it. It already exists.
Right, because the current dynamic is survive. It's live or die.
It's live or die. And it's, most people, and I know there's poverty even in America. It's not like what poverty was.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not against having like this a safety net like we have.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain circumstances, people who are mentally ill, physically, who just can't take care of themselves. Yeah, let's take care of those people. But people who are able-bodied, nah, you know what? Figure it out.
Okay.
And people do. And the floor, without any sort of UBI or other intervention, the floor has been raised over
agreed.
time.
And
it'll continue to do so because we're evolving and we figure things out, and we can't even imagine. It may be that because of the Elon Musks and the titans of industry, that we're going to figure out ways for people who we traditionally think couldn't take care of themselves actually can, right? Through robots and AI and whatnot. Like
you're not concerned about the robots and the AI just replacing people, and then we just kind of have a whole class of the forgotten?
There's going to be that, but there's also going to be the things that we haven't imagined that we team up, like we use the tools, right? Certain things are bound to get commoditized, right? But then you have whole new industries. Like, who would have thought, when I was a kid, that people would be making a tremendous living coding, right? And designing apps. We didn't have a thing that an app could live on, right? You couldn't even imagine it. Right? There's going to be more of that. That's just that's how it works.
You're talking really about the sense of innovation and the sense of like finding opportunity in the problem that's presented to you.
Yeah, and I taught, back in my aspiring keynoter days, I lost my train of thought.
Prior to that keynoter, you were talking about no matter what, there's always going to be something to innovate so that you can find a way to thrive that wasn't possible before.
Oh, yeah, so I remembered where I was going with it, which is this, that AI and robots are going to force us to find that core of, it's been called the divine spark. We all have it. And it's the thing that makes us unique. Now, one of the things I talked about, as humans, we're not creators, we're inventors.
Interesting.
And what I mean by that is this. We try to create an apple. And the best we could come up with is a vitamin pill. We try to create a human being. The best we could come up with is a robot. Right?
I'm tracking.
And that's, so ultimately, the fact that we're not creators, like we can't just create something out of nothing, that's our saving grace.
Interesting.
Right? Because no matter how hard we try, we will never be able to replace ourselves completely.
As human beings.
As human beings. So, I don't worry about it.
I'm not worried about it either, but I guess for me, I'm where I look at it from sort of the other side is there's so much wasted resource in a forgotten class of people. And for me, it's I'm a I don't want to leave anyone behind kind of a thing.
Sure.
You know? And
They
not
also
just
have to-
not just from a humanitarian perspective, like a feel good kind of thing. It's like the reason why I'm pursuing small businesses, even though God they are so difficult, because like literally this thing right now, I could do this for them in an afternoon. I could cut together a piece for them that would be an entire campaign. I could do this this thing that we're shooting right now.
Yeah.
I could turn this into a 3-month campaign with about 50 reels that would, we'd do some B-roll shoots and whatnot. I could do that for about $2,000, okay? That's a 3-month campaign. I cannot tell you how difficult it is to get small business owners to get to a place where we're past the point of inspiration to the point of execution. That's why I'm in the situation I am. It's so difficult. So why am I pursuing them as opposed to pursuing the bigger brands? Well, 2 reasons, let's be real. One of them, I'm a little intimidated by the bigger brands because the fact of the matter is I don't want to scale up. I don't want to get a huge crew. I don't want to do commercials. I want to do documentary, and I don't think that bigger brands have a value for it. But the second and the bigger reason is I don't have a value for the bigger brands in the way that because they're covered. They got this stuff. They can do this stuff if they want to, and if they want to hire me, great. But I want the small business who is struggling to even figure it out, because for me that's the story to tell that actually will then propel all of us forward. Because if we can remember where we all came from, which is I'm an entrepreneur who's just trying to do something from nothing, let me market you with that story, then we can perpetuate the movement forward. So to the same extent, I look at the class of the forgotten. I look at the class that is the reject, the class that is whatever. And I go, no, I don't just want to plug them onto UBI and all right, they're cool, they're just there. No, I go, I do not accept that they are worth less. I do not accept that there's not something there that we can benefit from, and I'm not talking about their energy. I'm not talking about anything that's like a vampiric kind of thing. But it's like you see the world in a certain way, and if we can heal the addictive thought patterns that are keeping you blocked, your contribution is immeasurable, and I want to see what that is for no other reason than I just want to see humanity do something cool that it's not doing right now. And we need every brain at the table in a way that is not harvested. We're not harvesting information for AI to go do, but rather we are looking at a person. We are recognizing that they need to eat, they need to sleep, they need to have shelter, they need to feel connected. What if we could provide that? Now, in that part of the educational process, because here's something, Lewis, I do think we have an overpopulated world. I think we have an overpopulated system. And you know why? Because the world sucks so much. You know what one thing is always great for coping? Sex. You know what the problem is? Sex. It's like we are perpetually reproducing from a state of, I don't know what else to do, I'm bored, I don't really want to use contraceptives for whatever reason. We have all of these things that then keep us from actually like taking care of ourselves, and so then we just have reckless sex. We perpetuate a lot of brokenness. As you bring education, as you bring mental health, as you bring healthcare and UBI, yes, you are probably going to have a generation that seems worthless, but you know what they're doing? They're healing so that the next generation, one, is probably smaller, Because this generation goes, okay, we're just going to chill out. Everything's okay. I'm just going to rest. I'm just going to breathe. I'm going to heal some generational trauma. They are doing the work of healing generational trauma. And then the next generation that comes out of that, they are an entirely different species of human. And now we don't even know what that looks like. And to me, that's a whole other form of ego death for the entire human race. Because really it comes back to the question, what are we without our struggle? And I say that is an answer worth pursuing. Because I think there is always going to be struggle in the sense of like, how do we get from here to there? But imagine if you take a guy out of a state where he's just in perpetual dysfunction. You provide what he needs to heal himself. Then you provide him what he needs to propel himself, and you motivate him by showing him that he actually can. What limit does he truly have but that which he places on himself? Because we have taken the limits away that are external. And yes, the struggle will always remain. The human struggle, it is the ego death, it is that fear, it is the fear of success, it is the fear of failure, it is the what am I made of. But this ego expansion is just then it's ripe. It's something that we can remain who we are, but at the same time we can expand. And if we're not held back by convention, if we're not held back by, well, it's always been this way. Yeah, it's always been this way, but at the same time, 60 years ago, this was not a thing.
Right.
And you know where this came from? Art. Star Trek. This is because of Captain Kirk. Right here, this is because of Captain Kirk. And these things that we're wearing, this is because of Captain Picard. This is Bluetooth. Like the thing is, Star Trek is just one example of art that has literally contributed so much to human development, just through the idea, uninhibited by, well, this is how it's always been, and instead going, well, what could it be? And if we can imagine a world where the struggle, conflict, always, because it is always the progression. But as opposed to marrying the struggle to a certain set of circumstances, what would struggle look like if it wasn't attached to live or die? And I don't know, I can't get that out of my head.
Yeah, I had my favorite professor in college talked about a universal income, or it wasn't called UBI, it was called something similar, a guaranteed annual income. Okay. And I mean, it sounds worthy. I think it has all sorts of problems with it, but some of which are unintended consequences.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And
that's part of the ego death. What happens? Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm more on the side of Elon as far as population goes. I think we need more people. We have the resources, and what I tell people, right? Because I'm also Boise's #2 wedding officiant,
right?
and I'm encouraging people to get married and make more babies. And I mean, some people think it's a funny line, and it kind of it certainly goes against the grain of what people, people. No, I want it to be all about me. What do I want kids for? But I like to think that the people who are generally more good outnumber the people who are generally more bad, and so
I would agree with that.
If people start having more babies and we have like a population explosion, that means the ratio means you're gonna have much more good, cool people who are doing great things versus the bad people, and then maybe we'll reach critical mass where the good people will so outnumber the bad people that we could go out and finally get rid of all the bad people.
What does that mean, to get rid of the bad people?
No, kill them. I'm being facetious.
Okay, well, I don't know. I'm going to take you at your face value.
No, so you're going to have to kill some of them.
Okay.
Some people are that bad, like you just get rid of them. I know that sounds harsh, but
when you say that, are you talking? You're talking about like people who can't stop like murdering and all that kind of stuff. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, like some of the, like the mullahs in Iran, that we've gotten through several layers of them, and I say yay.
Okay.
Getting, eliminating evil people to me is a good thing.
What's an evil person?
They're, it's the mind of the beholder, right? But
Well, right. So isn't that kind of a dangerous idea?
yeah, it is. So we have to be wise about it.
So how do you be wise about something that's so subjective?
I think that there are people that most good people realize, like a Hitler, yeah, let's get rid of Hitler. Now it would be controversial because there's like a whole new generation of people who suddenly love Hitler. But it's and again, I guess I opened the Pandora's box, so
You
now
did.
I can't.
You did.
Yeah, now I can't
You can't
shut
walk it back now.
It's I think the fact that in my scenario we're bringing more life into the world, and there's going to be good people and wise people, and they'll help us determine. Right, you should definitely be circumspect, but let's not just go out and make war on the world, right? That's no good. But
So an evil person.
I think there are people who are generally, like, most of us would agree, like, killing 40,000 of your citizens is evil, right? I'm talking about Iran.
What about accidentally? What about bombing a school full of kids?
Well, you mentioned accidentally.
Well, sure, but then
yeah.
let's own it. Let's make that right.
Yeah, no, but you know what? Absolutely. Although that one I think was debunked. And
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm not going to pretend like, oh yeah, we're the good guys, and we're so careful that nothing bad ever happens and there's no collateral damage. No, that's bullshit.
Sure.
Right? But I like what you say about owning it.
Yeah, dude. Well, okay. So if I was to give a definition of evil,
Yeah.
my definition of evil, in a way, trying to get out of any kind of subjective, which is impossible. I think evil is saying one thing, doing another, and then saying, I never said that. And then I never did that. It's the perpetual evading of accountability. It is the perpetual, and I'm trying to figure out why even that is evil. But
yeah, because sometimes there might be a reason to be dishonest.
Right, but I'm not so much speaking of dishonesty. I'm speaking more so of acting in a way where you are perpetually causing harm to others for the sake of your own elevation. Which, I mean, that's, again, it's very difficult to actually get to a place of being able to say, here's the line and here's where it's crossed, because it's so subjective. I don't know who actually made the plastic of this cup.
Right.
I don't know who really created these chairs, or I don't know who paved the roads. I don't know what the materials came from. So if you really go into the infinite space of it,
you can
go
do
crazy.
anything. Yeah.
But here's the thing: once you become aware, I think once you become aware of a thing,
right,
you are accountable to the actions that then follow. And if you are not being real about You know what I think it is? Evil is awareness that pretends ignorance. Evil is awareness that then denies that awareness so that it can continue on that which it now knows is already corrosive. Why? Laziness. I think evil is ultimately laziness, in a way. This is how it's always been.
It can be.
I think, that's why it's so difficult to contend with and to wrestle with, because, the reality is, the thing that religion provides is this very convenient and comfortable sort of like, here's where it starts and here's where it stops, so that you don't go insane. And as long as you do these things, you're fine, and as long as you don't do these things, you're fine. But we, I think, intrinsically know deep down that's not the way it actually is.
I think it provides useful guideposts and a compass.
It's a social contract. Every religion is ultimately a spiritualized social contract.
And I'm cool with religion. I'm not. I don't practice my religion on a daily basis, but I feel that having that framework helps keep us from, going completely wild.
Oh yeah, well,
right.
No, constructs are important. Morality is important. It's just understanding that was created by somebody. We all agreed to it. So don't let it constrain you in the sense of, I think at the end of the day, coming back to this question of evil is someone who has no internal compass. They play the game, they play the system to get what they want, but they don't have any sense of who they are apart from that. So I'll do whatever I need to protect my position. I'll play whatever game I need to play. I'll say whatever I need to say. But at the end of the day, all I really want is what's good for me. And ironically, that is kind of the point.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of like, you're missing out if you think that what's good for you always comes at the cost of somebody else, as opposed to what's good for you is what's good for you. Okay, you want to know my favorite movie scene? And we're going to close with this. My favorite movie scene is, have you seen the movie A Beautiful Mind with Russell Crowe?
I did not.
Okay, watch this.
Yeah.
He plays John Nash, who's a professor, and he goes insane, gets schizophrenia. But at the beginning of the film, his character actually peaks in life. He doesn't realize it, but he peaks in life. And it's a very misogynistic scene because it's set in the 50s. But it's these like, I don't know, like they're all kind of, fellow like students. I can't remember what university at the moment, but Nash has been basically not going to classes. He's not been doing anything. They're like, you're not going to get anything out of this because he's literally up just constantly trying to figure out this theory of governing dynamics.
Yeah.
It's going to be the thing. It's going to be the paper. And they're sitting in this bar, and this blonde comes in with like, kind of a, her group of friends. And Nash he's attractive, and so he always gets sort of noticed, but then he flubs it. He says something horrible, and then like he gets slapped, right? So the blonde comes in, and they're like, okay, gentlemen, there she is, 6 o'clock, and they're all kind of like, they start talking about like, they're using economic theory in a joke as far as like who's going to get her, and they're talking about what is it that this theory says? It's that it's competition serves the common good, so every man for himself. And then she turns and she looks at Russell Crowe's character, and they're like, she's looking at Nash, and like, well, just wait till he opens his mouth. But then like she illuminates, he's watching her, and she illuminates, and all of a sudden he has this epiphany, and he goes, I think it's Adam Smith. He goes, Adam Smith needs revision. And they go, what are you talking about? And he goes, Adam Smith said, if basically, competition, every man serving himself, that drives everything forward, right? Which to me goes back to this whole idea of live or die. Mm-hmm. He goes, incomplete. He goes, if we all go for the blonde, we block each other, and nobody gets her, then we turn to her friends, and they give us the cold shoulder because nobody wants to be a second pick. What if nobody goes for the blonde, we don't get in each other's way, and we all get laid? And then he says, Adam Smith, incomplete. What serves the group is every man operating out of his own best interest and the group's.
Mm-hmm.
And what I love about that is, even if there was this beautiful woman and you and I both wanted her, we probably don't want her for the same reasons. Maybe I want, she's attractive. This will be fun, a fun night, and this will boost my ego. But you want to marry her. You're already seeing a life of kids with her and all that kind of stuff. Those are two very different desires. So we compare. Okay, instead of competing to show who's the better man, it's like, okay, dude, I'm really into her. You're like, I am too. And I go, well, what do you want? And you're like, well, I want this. And I'm like, oh, I don't want that. You know what, Lewis? You go get, because now I'm kind of like, that's probably what she wants too, and I don't really want that. Okay, I'm gonna go find somebody else actually. You know what I mean? We work together because even when we're in competition, we're not actually going after the same thing. Like, and if the only thing I'm going after is a momentary ego boost,
right,
I'm missing out. Just like if the only thing I'm going after is a big bank account and a sense of like, here's my footprint on the world. Like, okay, but what kind of life is that? Now, but that's my life to live. That's my thing to pursue. But the thing is, even if that is my only motivation, if I can link and sync that up with yours, which is a different motivation, we both get what we want. Everybody gets what they want. And there is no one left out in the cold. And everyone is contributing, because just as I am pursuing what's best for me plus you are pursuing what's best for you plus me. Because I'm sitting here going, Lewis, it's just been a long time since I've had a nice night with a girl. And you're like, okay, can I be if you let me have her, can I be your wingman? And look over there. And I'm like, yeah, she's pretty great too. It's like, look, I know her actually, and XYZ and blah, blah, blah. And let me help you. And then just stay out of my way with her. Like, okay, cool, all right. You know what I mean? We help each other, we both get what we want. That is, in my opinion, again, it's the marriage between socialism and capitalism. We have to stop seeing them as these dualistic things that cancel each other out. They can cancel each other out if you have an absolutist mindset, but if you see the elements of this plus the elements of that, I really think it's the waterline and the jump. It's both. We all get what we want. And the thing is, I'm gonna ultimately, you might hook me up with that girl, and I'm thinking, yeah, I just want a nice night. And then I have an amazing night, and then we have all this conversation and stuff, and I'm like, oh shit, Lewis, I'm actually marrying her.
So let's bring the real world back into this.
You don't think that's the real world?
No, I think that the scenario, and some guys they might operate that way.
Okay.
But I also think when you bring the actual girl into the picture,
yeah,
and then now everybody is essentially figuring out what they want and who's going to best serve it, and without overly complicating the scenario.
Yeah.
Things have a way of working out. Now, maybe she ends up marrying the wrong guy, right? Because you just want to get laid, but you're a smoother talker, and she's young and hasn't figured out the whole smooth talker bullshit. Right. And but that's a lesson she needs to learn, and she'll learn it when you break her heart. And then, maybe the other guy is still available, and they run into each other, and then they get married. But right, like, it doesn't have to be the two guys saying, hey, let's, okay,
it doesn't have to be, but imagine if she didn't have to get her heart broken also. Imagine if instead, because the thing is, we're not even including her in the situation. If she's,
But you need to.
well, but I'm saying, so include her in it, but in a way where again, everybody's cards are on the table. No one's playing this like kind of poker thing. You go up there and say, hey, I'd like to take you out sometime. And she says, actually, right now, I'm kind of on my own right now, and I'd like to keep it that way. And you're like, okay, well, can I still get to know you? Because I would actually just like to get to know you. And she's like, sure, yeah, like, well, tell me about yourself. And now you know, okay, for this connection to work, I need to be sincere in letting go of the possibility of something romantic happening. But I genuinely I'm really interested and fascinated by this person. So my ultimate goal is to get to know her, not to get something out of her. And she sees that you're genuine, and she actually is kind of lonely. Part of the reason why she's been alone is because she's had enough. And so now there's a genuine connection that forms. And this is just one scenario, right? Mm-hmm. But you're honestly meeting then her where she's at, as opposed to this is what I want. Because you're recognizing, well, what I actually want is connection. And there's something about her that I am drawn to. And I don't need to have a box for what that connection looks like. Meanwhile, I did have a box. Right? So if we hadn't done our comparison, I would have gone up there, I would have burned out, and then, okay, but what would that have really done for anybody? That would have made me feel like shit. That would have made her feel like shit. Would have made you feel like shit. But the fact that everybody's communicating in a very just honest and transparent way, well, this is what I want, what do you want? And actually just not trying to do the card game and manipulating the situation, but instead just going...
Well, but that's what you're doing, is you're manipulating the situation.
How am I manipulating it?
By deciding ahead of time who gets to go talk to the girl.
It's not about who gets to go, but it's more saying it's taking in genuine input from other people and letting that actually affect you.
It's, you know what, that's not a bad thing. I mean, checking in with others, to somebody might say, hey, you know what, she's got bungy teeth, which you hate. And it's like, oh my God, I didn't realize that. Thanks for saving me from embarrassing myself. Okay, whatever. But I'm a big fan of simplicity.
Sure.
And just letting things play out
That's
versus
true. Yeah.
trying to direct everything.
Yeah, no, I can see what you're saying. I can see what you're saying as far as you're doing so much checking in that it's like you just don't take the leap. And I agree, you need to just take the leap sometimes, absolutely. But I think there's a way to take the leap where you're contextually aware, not so that you can control the situation, but so that you can, again, be kind of selfish with it, but be selfish in a different way. Because the reality is, if everybody else is having a good time because of you, that feels good.
Sure.
And that's what you want to do.
Oh yeah.
You want to make people have a good time. You're not looking to swindle people out of their money. You're going, I've got a sense of humor that is very specific, and you got to get to know it. But once you do, you're going to want to pay for it. And that's it. That's what you're doing with this notary thing. You're just trying to get close to people so they can experience you.
No, it's even more basic than that. It's a way to make some money.
Yeah, but you can make money anyway.
No, this is true, but it's a way
it is connected sort of to what you want.
Yeah, in a weird way, it is.
But it is. It's not just driven by, I want to make some money while I figure this thing out. You're wanting, because you're wanting to use the story of being a notary to get someone close enough to you so they can experience your particular kind of personality, and then they go, Lewis, I actually want to know more about you.
Yeah, it's a door opener.
It's a door opener.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's a way to open the door for everybody.
And people should be encouraged to open their own doors.
And yes, absolutely, because you can't do it for them.
No.
If I open a door for you, there's an invitation for you to act on my kindness, right?
Yeah. Cut the part of me yawning.
Oh, none of this is getting cut.
All right. I'll do it again, but with feeling.
Please, show me a yawn with feeling. right now. This is where my director side comes in.
Yawn on demand.
I need a yawn on demand.
It's this is good training, right?
Other people want their actors to cry on command. I want you to yawn on command. Can you give me a yawn right now? Okay, now Lewis, I'm gonna ask you, what was your motivation for that yawn?
Well, you directed me to.
See, okay, I need more from you than that.
You did, okay. You know what it is that I'm realizing that I'm carrying the entire weight of the world on my shoulders, and all the allergens in the atmosphere where we're sitting outside on a 100-degree day as my lungs are filling up with crap.
So what I'm hearing is this probably needs to be the end of the conversation, so you can get inside.
No, I'll keep going. I'll keep going, but you might have to redirect the camera to the ground.
I think we're good. We're like, what, 45 minutes in probably?
I don't know. We got into some heavy shit today.
Mm-hmm. That's all I know how to do, Lewis. That's all I know how to do, and that's my problem. But you know what? That's who I am.
I need to do my pitch for our friends here.
Okay, you want to do that right now?
I just think they're lovely people, but I can't endorse the product.
You can't endorse?
No, it's not my.
It's not your cup of shake?
It's not my cup of shake.
Well, don't worry, Jessica and Jason. It's definitely my cup of shake and tea. Hey, we gotta be honest.
I'm gonna be honest. Whether people like me or not, and I thought I had to develop a thicker skin, right? Because when you do things publicly, you're gonna get the haters.
Sure.
Who don't want to? Oh, they get upset if you call them a hater. It's like, no, it's a disagreement. It's not. I just, dramatically speaking, it has more impact if I call you a hater than a disagreeer. Okay.
Well, it definitely punches more, yeah.
Yeah. So just don't take it personally. I know you will, and then I'm gonna hear it on my feed.
But try not to.
And
actually, go ahead. That gives me more material.
Go ahead. Yeah. No.
Actually, you know what? Yeah, you're a hater. Take it personally.
But I found myself like going back to Facebook. Not every few minutes, but more often than I should, just to see where this thing was playing out. And I didn't I wanted to not care, but you can't help it. Like people purposely stab you in the back, okay, and they attack you and they say mean things, and it's easy to do that, and then you want to say, oh, that person's just an asshole or they're trolling me or whatever, but no, it affects you. So
maybe there's a different way to be.
No, people are just that way.
They are right now.
No, because here's the thing: is that if you try to make them different.
I'm not saying make them different, but what if they can be different? Like, what if we can plant the seed that you can be different? But yeah, you're right. You can't make someone be different. That's another religion.
And what'll happen is that then you get this whole fake nice thing that the politically correct bullshit that we've had to live through.
Okay. But kindness is different than niceness, and you can also teach kindness.
Yeah.
You don't think so? You don't think you can teach kindness?
You can, to the people who are receptive of it, and then other people who are going to exploit it. It's kind of like.
But if the people who are kind, who are not exploiting, because exploiters are nice, genuine people are kind. That's the difference. But if you are kind, you call things out, not from a place of but from a place of, hey, why'd you do that? Like, I'm just really curious why you did that, because obviously this was the impact, and I would like to interact with you, if you would like, on that impact. I can't really say, I can tell myself a story of why you did that, but I just, I think that you made that impact, so I'm curious why you made that impact, and if you would like to adjust that impact. Otherwise, I'm gonna have a boundary that's gonna sort of say, I'm moving on. And that's kindness, the ability to just do that.
Well, then I think I was kind to that person who was sarcastic with me because I called her out on the sarcasm.
Yeah.
And then that inspired other people to jump down my throat, and that's just how it is. And it will lead me to check my Facebook thread more than I want to, because I'm looking for the next opportunity
To be kind.
Yeah, but it's like I got other things I got to do.
Well, then
like,
yeah, exactly. And
maybe it's because I'm kind of new at it, and I haven't experienced a bunch of the hateful comments. But it's no, for me, like, I'm sensitive that way, and so at some point, as I become more successful and acquire more haters, and I might discover that I'm spending way too much time dwelling on what the haters are saying, and I'll have to decide, is it worth it or is it not worth it? And maybe at that point I'll take Social Security and go on a road trip with my wife.
well, if I get UBI going before that happens, then you can just
Oh, I'll tack it onto the Social Security.
Yeah.
I'll be set.
there you go.
We could live in the Volvo.
Do it.
Don't say my license plate.
No, I'm not gonna pan over. You're fine.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's good. Louis, thank you.
I hope it helps. What kind of viewership do you have?
We'll probably have about 15 viewers on this one.
That's more than I get.
But the Instagram reel that I cut, I'll probably get between 500 and 1,000. So I got you.
Cool. I have to pat myself on the back, because a bad day now is 100 views, and before, like, I'd get 24 impressions on Instagram, because I was doing these AI retro futuristic illustrations.
Right.
Nobody cares to see those.
You're right.
Now I'm getting like 400 or 500.
There you go.
The one,
Because they want to see you.
yeah, they want to see what happens with this beard. But that one post that started the flame war has almost 1,000 views.
There you go.
I don't know what's considered good. Well, good to me is when it inspires somebody to reach out and say, "Hey, Louis, would like to have you MC our event."
Right.
That hasn't happened.
But you don't know? It might happen today.
It might. I just don't know how to view the metrics properly. Like what?
I think it's all just about consistency. It's just consistency, and pay attention to how things hit and don't hit, and then just try to ride the wave as best you can. But you got to be consistent. You got to be regularly putting stuff out. I think it's really that simple.
Yeah. I mean, I've been putting out almost every day.
Yeah.
Sometimes multiple times a day. I don't want to cannibalize.
Right.
Like, it seems like if you put out 3 videos in a day, then the first one stops.
The others,
acquiring
yeah, I
impressions.
do think there's a limit. Like, you probably no more than once a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then otherwise it kind of penalizes you for that. But. Well, I'm gonna stop recording. I think.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, we recorded for over an hour.